this will be my first time.
That's what she said.
It's always like the part that scares me the most, so.
That's what she said?
Hopefully it goes fun and we get through this.
That's what she said. Michael.
We're gonna find out if this actually works. Welcome back to another episode of Broken Mirror, guys. So it's probably about 2 weeks since the last time that I recorded, maybe a week and a half. And right now it's actually around the holidays. So 3 days ago was Thanksgiving. But honestly, I have not had luck selling that Dodge. I knew things were gonna slow down right around the holidays, always does. Also, that car has been giving me little problems here and there ever since. So we'll see. I think I bought both of these cars way too emotionally. I was trying so hard, I didn't tell anyone, but I was trying to make a goal to sell 4 cars in the month of November. Yeah, it just backfired on me. I got too emotionally caught up. Anyway, so this is a 2001 Nissan Pathfinder. I bought it for $650, and as you can see, it is pretty rough. Like I said, I'm kind of regretting this buy. It's just going to be a lot of work, just like the last one, and probably not that great of a payoff. But we'll see. $650 might be worth it. Now, the main reason I got this so cheap is because the guy said that there was an overheating issue, and he had the thermostat replaced, but it still overheats. And the other reason is because this car is just, I mean, filthy. It definitely needs a lot of love. Upon taking it for a test drive, just to see how it shifted, which actually shifts pretty good, it popped off a blinking check engine light. And when I ran the search on it, I found out that it has a cylinder or a misfire on cylinder 6. The misfire also came with another code that read that the fuel injector may be stuck open, which makes a lot of sense because when this thing was running, especially during the test drive, it just reeked of gas, like raw fuel almost coming out of the exhaust. So I do think cylinder 6, I believe it to be the back right, needs a fuel injector. I picked up 2 just in case. I'm gonna do back, hopefully get both of the back ones replaced, and it should fix that issue at least. So that's the goal for right now, is to fix that so I can actually get this thing home. I'm about 10-15 minutes north, but I didn't want to blow up my engine trying to get this thing home. So I'm going to try to fix that first, and then I'll try to limp it home, see if it gets hot, cold, all that. But for right now, we're going to tackle the fuel injector. So let's get at it. All right, guys, so here is a prime example as to why things are usually just a simple fix. So I took everything apart. I had bought 2 used fuel injectors from the junkyard. It was like 20 bucks compared to 100 for one. at the parts store. So luckily I lost 20 bucks, not a big deal. But as I was testing the two that this could have been, they seemed to be working fine. They were spraying fine, clicking fine. The ohm resistance was good. And I was just searching online, like what is the exact ohm resistance they're supposed to be, and everything's good. And then finally I realized, could this just be a spark plug that's not firing, or maybe just a bad coil pack? And if you look way back here, I just saw it. Watch this. It wasn't hooked up. This is what a closed one looks like, right to the coil pack. So this thing was never put back on by the last guy who was in here. So all this work could have been avoided had I just checked if that was clicked on. Well, you win some, you lose some. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna button this back up and see how it's running once everything is put back together. Let's get at it. What is up, guys? So it is the next day. It's about noon here. Last night I buttoned up everything and I started to drive it away, and I got the same codes. So here are the actual codes that I'm getting. So it's a P0306, and it says severity 2 of 3, repair immediately if drivability issues are present, threat to essential system components if not repaired as soon as possible. This is a Nissan stored, so it says just a bunch of little things it could be. So when I first read that, I decided I was going to be smart because I was going to take apart the entire engine. I would go get the fuel injector first. I get a used one from the junkyard, save me, I don't know, 80, 100 bucks. Ended up not being that. And then I showed you guys last night that the coil pack just wasn't even plugged in. Now, upon thinking after I saw this code pop up again last night, I pulled that coil pack out, but the first thing what I'm gonna do is test the ohm rating on it and see if the ohm rating is right or resistance is right. So yeah, that's the goal. Right now I'm gonna try to pull out that coil pack, which basically I have to remove the air intake system again, see what it looks like, pull out the spark plug, see what that looks like, and then yeah, go from there. All right, guys, let's get at it. Welcome back, guys. So it's probably about 5, maybe even 6 days later. So I just kind of want to catch you guys up on everything. Basically, after finishing the last video, I ended up switching the coil packs just to test if that was the actual issue. I don't believe it was. I was finally able to drive this thing home, my little usual garage spot, and just about 1 block away, it started to get hot, which I knew that was the original issue, but I'm kind of confused as to why it happened then and how it happened, but I'll get into that later. Anyhow, what I did notice was driving this thing home, the check engine light only came on when I was in higher RPMs, probably around 2,500, maybe 3,000, somewhere in there. So after doing a bunch of research, I found that this is kind of a common weird issue in these vehicles. A lot of people are having trouble finding exactly what it is. Could be a sensor here, a sensor there, a gasket, an evap. I'm thinking it's evap, honestly, because when I was taking apart the fuel rail down here, all the evap hoses just broke. I couldn't even like reuse them. They all just kind of cracked and snapped. So I'm thinking something happened a while ago that caused them to all just, the engine ran rich and dried out all those lines. So one of the things that I saw it could be is as easy as a PCV valve. Unfortunately, my PCV valve is like buried in there, and I don't know how I'm gonna get back to it without ripping everything apart. I'm gonna try my best. I'm also gonna try to check all the other little evap hoses, try to clear them out, try to blow out anything that might be clogged or causing an issue with it. I'm also going to take out the mass airflow sensor, see if that's dirty. I know the filter's filthy. I don't think this thing's been changed in probably 5 years, so I'm gonna blow that out, see if that helps a little bit. I'm gonna check out the throttle body, see if something's wrong with that. But I think that's it, guys. It's just time to get at it. Let's go. Welcome back, guys. So it is the next day. After kind of putting a screwdriver through my thumb last night and the light getting a little dark, I just tried to finish up the best I could. Figured I'd recap you in the morning. I found a couple weird things. I believe I already showed you that the PCV valve was just completely thrashed. Like it had like hardened, burned oil on it. So gonna be replacing that today. And then the next thing I wanted to check, and I was so weirded out by this, but look at this spark plug. Look at the difference in that spark plug compared to this spark plug. I had never seen this before, and this almost looks like a high power output spark plug, like a tester plug. Yeah, so it just threw me off. And I did a bit of researching, and it doesn't look like anyone else replaces the spark plugs with this. So I'm gonna go get 2 new spark plugs. This one is actually burnt. Upon pulling out this cylinder, I found out that this wasn't even fully threaded on. So we're gonna replace this one at least, and then probably this one as well. But the other thing I wanna do is I wanna figure out what this overheating issue is. So I think you can see back here, this right here is the top like water, I forget what they call it, water cooler section. It has a thermostat inside, an upper thermostat. And then this right here, this area, has a secondary thermostat, and both of them are brand new. Like they were replaced probably right before I bought this. The guy told me, in fact, that they were replaced. I thought maybe the mechanic he brought it to only replaced the easy one and not the harder one in the back where you have to take off the intake manifold. But after checking this out, I realized he did replace both of them with brand new. It could still be the issue, but I'm assuming now the actual issue is the water pump. The only thing that sucks about these water pumps is they're actually behind this little cover down here. And this cover, or this water pump, is driven by the timing chain. So there's a trick where you have to get the crank top dead center, and then you come over here, there's another little access panel that goes to a tensioner. You take that off, take the tension off the water pump, and then you come down to the crank again and you move the crank about 20 degrees. So you put the weight of the chain back over to the left side, and then you come over here and take out the water pump. I'm assuming this is the issue because if both of these were replaced and it's still getting hot, in fact, the fan clutch was also replaced, which was my next thought. Yeah, if these are all brand new and it's still getting hot, I have to assume it's the water pump. So that's gonna be our goal right now, is to access the water pump, see if there's any other leaking. If it looks like it's been leaking or weeping, there's actually a weep hole down on the side of the engine here towards the bottom. I'm gonna take off the access plate and see if we can see it. And if it looks like it's weeping, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna replace the water pump. I'm a little nervous. I've never actually accessed the timing chain or belt, so this will be my first time. It's always like the part that scares me the most, so hopefully it goes fun and we get through this. So yeah, let's get at it, guys. Welcome back, guys. It's a few days later here. If you made it this far, make sure to comment Pathfinder down in the comments. I'm trying to see how many of you guys actually make it to this point. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. It really does help us in the YouTube algorithms. Also, YouTube Analytics has shown that 64% of you guys are actually not even subscribers. So if you guys want to make sure you see this next time, go down, hit the subscribe button, click that notifications bell. This way you get alerted every time I put out a new flip video. But getting back to the Nissan, I actually finished this Saturday night, but I never started it. And I never started it because I didn't have enough coolant to top it off. So I just went into the store. I got plenty of coolant now. So we're gonna start this for the first time together. We're gonna find out if this actually worked. I believe it did. I did just check the clearance on that spark plug. That was a little different than the weird one they put in there. Definitely good clearance on that. Yeah, we're gonna see if all the misfires and if the coolant issue gets fixed right now. Let's see. All right, guys, so the engine was still getting hot and I kind of feel silly. I kind of feel a little stupid. This whole thing could have been avoided. Basically, there was air in the engine, and there was air in the engine again after I did all this work. The engine got hot, and the lower radiator hose was actually completely cold. Like, to the touch, I could grab it, no problem. So after kind of just playing with that, trying to get the air pocket out, I searched how to bleed the air out of a Nissan Pathfinder, and it turns out that there's a little tiny valve in the back of the engine. It's basically the highest point in the entire engine. So on there is a little rubber grommet, and you take that off. And I actually took a little air pressurized gun for like brake bleeding to try to pull out the air, and I got like 10 pounds of pressure with no water. So I took a drill bit and just drilled down through it, and it was filled with old just gunk from the cooling system. So as soon as I did that, I sucked it again and water started rushing through. So I believe I got the air pockets out, but I'm still gonna sit here probably for another 20 minutes, kind of rev it, kind of hold it, see what happens to actually get this thing perfect. If it doesn't work, you'll find out more next episode. But so I think that's it. I think it's gonna wrap up here, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and can't wait to see you next time. Thanks, guys. Later.